IEBC comprises of the Secretariat and the Commission.
So again, we're on the same page. What do you understand by the term tally and verify?
The tallying and the verification is what was happening on the floor of the tally center. The results that are brought by the returning officers, and they bring the Form A, the Form B, are verified. And one of the verification involves verifying what is in the portal against what is brought as hard copies.
I want to understand, again, let's go in sequence. What is tallying? From the polling station, you've gotten the results from the polling station. This is presidential only, by the way, we're dealing with. So you've gotten from 34A and 34B.
Yes.
At the National Tallying Center. So what is tallying at the National? What is the work? What is the physical work that's being done that is tallying?
The tallying that was happening at this tally center, Bomas, is to generate Form C. And the Form C is the final results of all the polling stations in the country, 46,299.
Professor, I think maybe I'm not asking you the question correctly, or you're not understanding me. What is the physical work? What is actually being done? What is the meaning of the word tallying? You have a Form A from 34A from my village, and then 34B from my county, from my constituency. At the county, so what do you do with this form from my village and from my constituency? What is the meaning of tallying? And then you have the ballot papers. What is the work that's being done?
I can only speak what is happening at the tally center.
Yeah.
The form, remember, the results have been transmitted from the polling stations.
Yeah.
The results as announced at the polling station is final.
Yeah.
Once the PO, the presiding officer, announces, he uploads the results into the portal, and it's also sent to the back end of IBC. All that happens at the floor is to check, one, the A that is brought, the physical A, is the B that is summation of the A's, is the entries in B correct in accordance with the Form A? Secondly, is the Form A that has been uploaded in the portal the correct form in accordance or as per the physical A that has been brought to tally center? So in other words, we are using the A to generate the C directly. And so the tallying here means in the system, once a form has been brought, agents are given copies of the same. The returning officer comes, agents they bring their A's and B's, they are photocopied. All the agents are given copies, and now they check one by one, the polling station by polling station, and once it happens, it's correct, they go into the system that generates the C. So the physical A is counter-checked, and if it is verified, the system you tick. So as you do the ticking or as you do the okaying, it actually automatically tallies.
So the crowd we're seeing in the, is it called plenary at Bomas, the theater, the amphitheater?
Yeah, the floor.
So all those people, that's what they were doing. They were doing the tallying.
Yes.
At least we saw part of it, live transmission of that process. I didn't see commissioners going down there. Did you see were the commissioners down in the place? Because I just saw them announcing the results, but I didn't see them down in the place with the crowd, with the people working.
If you were there throughout the 6 days, you would have seen them mingling with the participants of the tally verification process on the floor.
So they were down there?
Yeah.
So, in your affidavit, page 25 of the bundle, page 25. You've seen the document appointing you as a team leader.
Yeah, alternate.
Again, for the record, I want you to read just read the entire letter. It's not a long letter. Page 25.
This is a letter addressed to me.
What's the date of the letter, just for the record?
It's dated 22nd July, 2022. It's addressed to me. It's also addressed to Marjan Hussein Marjan, the CEO. And it's referenced appointment to the results management team at the Presidential Tallying Center, Bomas of Kenya. Reference is made to the above stated subject matter pursuant to Section 39 of the Elections Act and the Regulations 83 and 84(1) and 2A. The Commission has designated Bomas of Kenya as the Presidential Election Tallying Center for the 9th of August 2022 general election. Consequently, you are hereby appointed to manage the presidential election result path as follows. So, myself, team leader, and Marjan, alternate team leader.
Just continue the
broad terms of reference or terms of reference of the team are: 1, undertaking quality assurance of results forms received from the Presidential Returning Officer's desk, tallying and processing of election results, assist the Presidential Returning Officer in managing a record of the election of results. Copies of letters of appointments of the team are attached herewith for your information, record, and further necessary action. The appointment takes effect immediately.
Thanks. So from the letter, you are the team leader of the entire presidential election process, basically, in the tallying and verification and tallying, or tallying and verification.
Yeah, alternate.
Yeah, and the alternate, okay, they call you the team leader, and the alternate is Marjan. In fact, I was coming to that, Kelly, that the meaning on alternate means co-equal, like you are co-equal.
Okay.
Yeah, you are equal. So basically, you and Marjan were in charge of the tallying and verification of the presidential results.
Overseen, yes.
Yes. I mean,
because there was a team attached to us.
Yeah, but the
in a separate letter.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're the leaders.
Yeah.
So basically, the other people are technical staff.
Yes.
And the other commissioners, what roles were they given?
There were various roles, because the activities were wide.
Yeah.
And they were equally as important.
Yeah, I know.
So the other commissioners had equally important roles to play in other areas. But when it came to verification and announcing of results, it was not an exclusive for us, because as you might have noted, the results were even announced by almost all commissioners except me.
I'm agreeing on that, by the way, Professor. I'm agreeing. What I'm saying is that when it comes to tallying and verification of presidential results, it was exclusive mandate given to you by the chairman and Marjan, you and Marjan. The others were dealing with logistics, with public relations, with other things, but even security. But you and Marjan were exclusively in charge of tallying and verification of presidential results. Can we agree on that?
Yes, to the extent that we were coordinating that activities on behalf of the other commissioners.
I'm saying let's not. I mean, let's not fight on language, because every commissioner was given a specific role. Another one was given security, another one was given public relations. But you, as Commissioner Guliye, with Marjan, you were given exclusive role of tallying and verification of presidential results. No one was sharing that role with you. No other commissioner was sharing that role with you.
Coordinating the activities of the verification.
The letter speaks for itself. We can argue until the cows come, but the letter speaks for itself. So why did the chairman appoint you again?
You can ask him.
So he's the chairman, yeah? Was there a meeting by the commissioners on this 22nd of July to allocate each commissioner a role? Or because my information is that everyone got their own letter individually. Except, in fact, they didn't know what the other person got. So there was no meeting to allocate these roles.
Allocations were done by the chairman, and since he had known his commissioners, he was best suited to allocate duties specific to the competencies of each of the commissioners. So,
I agree. So at least we agree again. Let's agree on one thing, that it is the chairman who did this appointment solely.
Since it was a small assignment on the election at the Bomas Tally Center, he did it for all of us.
It can't be a small assignment, Professor. You told us it was a big assignment. It can't be a small assignment.
The big assignment is when you're chairing committees.
Yeah, but that's when you're chairing. This is the climax of 5-year mandate of our IBC, announcing the presidential results. Doing the presidential results. Did you get a chance to read the judgment of the Supreme Court?
No.
Okay. In the Supreme Court judgment, the court said unanimously that the chairman has no such role of running the presidential elections alone. He must run with the entire 6 commissioners. Do you remember something like that in the judgment?
I don't remember, but I don't believe the chairman ran alone the commission.
In the judgment, Section 87 of the election regulations that gave the chairman this big oversized role of appointing you alone was repealed by the Supreme Court. It was declared unconstitutional. Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
That's what the Supreme Court said, that it doesn't have such role. You'll be telling us about fidelity to the law. The Supreme Court said he didn't have such role. It was not a one-man show, but he ran it like a one-man show.
I am here, having worked with the chairman for 6 years, and I'm best placed to judge the chairman more than anyone else. And I do believe the chair had been inclusive and consultative in his decision-making process.
That's your position again. Let's go to that. What the Supreme Court said about that. Supreme Court, again, in its judgment, they read your affidavit. They read the affidavit of every commissioner. And the Supreme Court was basically saying, those are boardroom wars. They didn't care about your fights. The 3 commissioners, they said you're always together, the 3 commissioners and the 4 commissioners. And the Supreme Court was dismissive of your fights. But here you want to convince us that the fight was so big, it was a crisis. Supreme Court saw through the affidavit, and they didn't say it's a big issue. They saw it was boardroom war. But you're telling us, yes, are you trying to revise the Supreme Court judgment, Gulia?
I'm not in any way revising any judgment, whether it is Supreme Court or any other court of law. All that I'm saying is we did not have fights. We had differences of opinion. That's not fights. You know, in your
in your evidence in chief, you were trying to paint a picture of yourself and the chairman. You didn't say about the other commissioner, Molo. Of course, we know it's about Molo. But you were trying to paint the 4 commissioners, which are called Cherera 4, as rogue, as, I don't know, they want to overthrow the constitution. You know, that's your entire tenor of your evidence in chief. And Supreme Court saw through your affidavit, and they saw it was nothing like that, the way you're trying to paint this tribunal. They saw it as just a boardroom dispute. But you want to make it look like it was a constitutional crisis.
Do you think moderating of results of election, people's voices, is a small boardroom war? I don't think so. In my opinion, we had differences of opinion on how to manage the results.
You know, Gulia, you told us at 3 a.m. in the morning there were no results. At 4 o'clock there were no results. But you're accusing my client and the other 4 commissioners, the Cherera 4, that at 3 a.m. in the morning they want to moderate results. That at 4 a.m. they want to certain results to be declared. You're the team leader in charge of this entire, exclusive. The results were brought at 4:20. And here you are excitedly telling us that they wanted to moderate results. What results were they trying to moderate when there are no results? How do you moderate nothing?
What I told you and what I'm saying is that the 4 commissioners agreed with individuals who came with intentions for us to vary the result. And by agreeing with them, they probably knew what we didn't know in terms of results.
Professor, you know, you told us you were a teacher at the university. So I want a logical answer explanation as to how do you moderate that which you don't know?
We learned the results when it was brought to the boardroom.
Exactly, and we're agreeing on that.
And before that, there were people who seemed to have known what the results were, who wanted us to think in a certain direction. And by the 4 commissioners agreeing with their thoughts, they must have known something we didn't know. I hope I'm clear.
In the fullness of time, we'll know the truth. Well, I'm asking, until now, for the record again, under oath, as the team leader, have you published the results online, Form 34C in entirety, 500 pages, until now?
The results have been published, and the physical copy that was signed by agents were also scanned and uploaded into the portal.
Mr. Chairman, let's go on record that until now, the results have never been published. Until now. Let them.
That's your view, not
my information. My instruction from my client are that the results until now have never been published. 34C.
That's a statement you're making.
Instruction from my client, which I'm okay. Let me put it. Let me whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Professor Kulia.
Yeah.
My client instructs me that until now, the results have never been published. Are you of the contrary view?
The results have been published in the portal.
I'm saying results.
That's the fact, if you want to know the facts.
When I say the results, Professor, I mean results pursuant to the prescribed format 34C. Again, I'm asking again, have they been published until now?
The results 34C have been published, and it has been printed from the portal, and once the agent signed, they have been scanned and the scanned version uploaded into the system.
When you and the chairman walked out of the boardroom at 4:25 o'clock, I don't know, of 15th of August, had we received the final results of like the 27 constituencies? Had we received them?
Yes, we did.
Had they been announced?
I was to announce before the fracas.
Okay, so, but I'm saying, so they're not been announced?
The results have been received, the results have been tallied, and they were part of the final results. It was only to make it public, but it was already tallied into the Form C.
Under the Constitution, Professor, is there anything wrong with having a dissenting opinion, with disagreeing?
For as long as the dissenting opinion does not offend the law.
That's a contradiction. Have you read the Bill of Rights about having
You asked me a question, I answered you.
Have you read the Bill of Rights, which gives everyone the right to have their own opinion on anything, on politics?
I didn't read, and I don't need to read now.
We can always read, because we need to...
No, you can read for me since you're a lawyer.
We'll read. Just give me the Constitution. Just read Article 32 and 33. Relax.
Article 33, freedom...
32 first, and then we
32.
go. Yeah.
Freedom of conscience, religion, belief, and opinion. Every person has the right to freedom of conscience, religion, though belief and opinion.
Okay, just on that Article 33.
Freedom of expression. Every person has the right to freedom of expression, which includes freedom to seek, receive, or impart information or ideas, freedom of artistic creativity.
Okay, it's fine. So Article 32 and 33 basically give us freedoms of expression, of opinion, and all those are freedoms. When the commission has told Chebukati that they don't agree, basically they're not agreeing with the 3-page results because they need time to go through the 400-page. How can that be a violation of the law? I need to understand.
The commissioners didn't land from the moon.
Yeah.
They were part and parcel of the verification for 6 days. They were involved in the process.
I agree.
They had been announcing constituency results faithfully for 6 days. And therefore, for them to come and say these results are not authentic, I think there's something wrong with that.
Gulia, paragraph 32, you told us Mr. Marjan walked into the room with the results, paragraph 32, which is about like 4 o'clock or 4:20, or I don't know, about between 4 and 4:20, with 500 pages, 1 copy of 500 pages, and 7 copies of 3-page document. Here, of course, you are misleading us by saying that he gave each one a copy of the results, but the actual results given as a 3-page document, which you confirmed. But the 500 pages he has never given
to anyone. I'm not misleading anybody.
Yeah, okay, fine. Well, that's what you told us, they were given results. So, I still want to understand that you want commissioners who've just been given a 3-page document to confirm the contents of a 500-page document with no opportunity to do that. They don't have copies. You told us it was not possible to make copies. They don't have copies. They have never gotten copies until now. My client tells me she's never gotten a copy until now. She's never gotten Form 34C in complete format. And you think it is wrong to actually tell the chairman you can't support such results until you've gone through the report? Is it illogical to refuse to accept results when you don't have the 500-page document?
The document that was brought is a summary by county. And it also gives the collected results of each candidate and the rejected votes.
Maybe let's go to the beginning.
The results, the whole document, which a copy was available, had the entire results. If anybody wanted, they would have used the hard copy that was available to verify any particular polling station or county they wanted.
Professor, are you supporting the removal of Commissioner Masit? Is that what you are?
Why would I?
No, as a witness here.
No, why would I? I was just told to come and give a version of what happened.
Have you read the petitions filed by the 4 petitioners that led to this tribunal?
No, I haven't read.
Do you know them personally? Do you know Dennis Ndumbi personally? Have you met him?
No.
Geoffrey Langat?
No.
Steve Jerry?
No, I don't know them.
Zagaria Matayo?
Don't know.
So you've not read the petition?
I don't know them, and I don't know their petition.
Okay, let me just tell you a summary. You know, they're saying that Commissioner Irene Masit be removed for gross violation of the Constitution. Gross violation of the Constitution. That's what they're saying. And of course, there's a legal meaning of the gross violation. And my issue is that you told that the results were brought by Marjan at 4:20, 500 pages and 3-page document. and my client refused to, your own words, basically did not support the chairman's invitation that they go announce the results immediately. Will such refusal, because you don't have an opportunity to go through a 500-page report, be a gross violation of the Constitution?
That's a matter for this tribunal to determine, not me.
No, you've been telling us about the understanding of the law, Professor. How do you understand?
No.
Peter led you through and you gave conclusions of the law. I thought you were a professor of the law when you reach conclusions of the law. So now you're saying you don't know about it.
I'm only here to give facts as they happened.
You reach conclusions
at the boardroom and at the tally center.
You told us after the results were announced on 15, you went into hiding.
Correct.
Can you tell us where you were hiding, if you don't have a problem?
Mr. Chair, I think I'll have a problem with that kind of a question, especially knowing the risk they have gone through and the disclosure of where he's hiding, and we don't know what will come after this. I will have a problem for such a question.
Chairman doesn't even know the entire case is that my clients were in Yaya.
Your question was, do you want to disclose where you're hiding if you don't have a problem with it?
That is it.
If you don't have a problem,
yes.
That was your question.
Yes. Correct, Chairman.
Yeah.
I'm not forcing him.
Yes.
I'm not forcing him to disclose.
Yeah, fine.
I don't know why Peter jumped into whatever. I told him if he doesn't have a problem, he tells us where he was hiding. Can you tell us where you were hiding, Professor?
I can't tell you that.
And I support you, by the way. That's correct position. So the same time you went to hide, my clients also went to hide at Yaya Center, purportedly. But the whole world has been told where they were hiding. Can you see the contradiction in these proceedings? You'll never tell us where you hid, but they've told the whole world where my client was hiding.
Your client went to a public utility facility.
You never told us where
I didn't go to a public place.
That's your word. We don't have CCTVs. They brought CCTVs of my client. We don't have your CCTVs. At the right time, we'll get them.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine, Professor. So finally, you're not a witness to the petitioners. I mean, they didn't invite you. They're not the ones who invited you.
I was invited by the tribunal.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, that's all for now.
Thank you. Re-examination? Yes, I'll very, very few questions. Professor, you are taken through Form 34C. I need you to confirm whether it was published, and if it was it ever signed or uploaded in the system? Clarify that issue.
The Form 34C is an auto-generated form. The system generates the form as the verification happens on the floor. Each of the arrows, as I said earlier, comes with the Form A's of all the polling stations in their respective constituencies. And alongside that, they come with a summary, which is Form B of the constituency. When they come with these two documents, they are photocopied immediately they arrive, and a bundle is given to each agent. And in the process, they now go into verifying each polling station by polling station. And once they are doing that, they do it on the system. And once a tick or a click has been done of OK, of a polling station result, it is deposited straight into the Form C, and this is auto-done. And therefore, by the time you tick the last polling station out of the 46,299 polling stations in the country, the form is already complete. So all that is done is to go and print the form from the system. And once the printout is done, the agents have a section to sign. And immediately they signed, for those who agreed to sign, the form was again scanned and now the scanned version with the signed copies are uploaded.
In this case, was it signed?
Yes, it was signed by the 3 agents out of the 4.
And after that?
Uploaded.
After that?
Scanned and uploaded.
It was uploaded.
Yeah.
Did Commissioner Irene Masit have an issue or a challenge to that within the commission?
At the time we were having the form being signed, they were in Cherera.
They were in Cherera.
Yes, she was not there.
She was not there.
Yeah.
Now, this tallying and verification, you say that the commissioners were involved for 6 days and the like. Clarify that process and whether Commissioner Irene Masit was herself involved in those 6 days.
As I mentioned, once the returning officer brings the results, the paper results, and once the verification has been done on the floor of the tally center, the complete constituency result is passed on to the commissioners. After, of course, the chairman has received the Form B, there is a place for him to sign. Then each of the commissioners were given bundles of constituency results to announce. And as far as I am aware, Commissioner Masit was one of the commissioners who did physically on the podium announce constituency results. In fact, I am the only commissioner out of the 7 who did not announce any result. And the reason was,
yes, go on.
I was busy coordinating the floor, and they all agreed that the final batch that was to be announced after the verification process has been completed, that they asked me to do it. And I was to do that announcement before the chair announces the final results.
Before the summary of results appeared, did Commissioner Masit have any problem?
No, I don't recall any incidents of any complaints about the verification process, the entire verification process for the 5 days we were at the Bomas Tally Center floor.
Last issue, paragraph 32, you've been taken through the issue of the summary. You remember the 3-page? Was given to everyone?
Everybody.
Every commissioner? Everybody.
And there was a hard copy available in case anybody wished to verify anything.
Now, after dealing with the issue of the request for moderation, which you say was supported by people, did Commissioner Irene Masit request to verify anything from the hard copy, which was with the chair?
Not that I recall.
She did not?
No.
And so that no one asked, let me see the big copy, let me verify anything.
Nobody asked. They all concentrated on the final tally for each of the candidates.
The final tallies,
yeah,
which they participated.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Chair and members, that will be all, unless members or chair have any questions.
Any yours?
Yes, proceed.
How are you, Commissioner?
Good, thanks.
There is this feeling about the printing of the final result that was done by Marjan. Can you be very clear to us? Where is this done? Is it done in the open? Is there a specific room where the CEO goes and prints this result so that we know? Or is it done in the open?
Now, the printing, as I told you, I don't know if you know the landscape of Bomas. When you go in, there is the CEO's, the building that houses the CEO, and there are also some theaters at the bottom, which you are using as call center. Now, the CEO was given an office there. Our CEO was given an office by the CEO of Bomas. And this was where he was using as the operational base to coordinate activities. But the tally center, it was about a couple of meters down the road in another building. So at around 2 o'clock thereabout, we walked after having verified and entered the last result into the system. We walked from the tally center building back to the boardroom where we were to meet. Now, with the building that houses that boardroom is where the office of the CEO is also housed. So we had asked him, as we are meeting the NSAC people, can you go and print the final results, and then you can bring it to the boardroom. So the place where he was building is an office not far from the boardroom.
That was the CEO's office.
At the CEO's office, but he was not alone. I think I remember Director Legal was with him, and there must have been other staff as well.
Then another issue that we need to get an answer to, when all these processes is ongoing, are commissioners able to follow the result, or is it something that comes to you by surprise? I'm asking this for the reason that you say there are elders who came. And as the elders came, you say you didn't know the result. Initially, we used to have what we call provisional result. So even as this meeting was going on, provisionally was any commissioner or anybody else able to know that this is how the result is going, or all the commissioners were in the dark, so they are making arguments in the dark?
We could only know tallies of constituencies, but we could not know the overall tally. As I told you, the system was such that once you click a polling station results, it collates automatically. And so the only final tally will be produced once the final collation was done. And there was no provision for intermediate, preliminary, or in between printing of results.
Less the 27 constituencies, so this system could be able to do the result. Less the 27, or maybe when you are remaining with 5 constituencies, you can still, if you have access to that system, be able to know that this is where
no one was stopped from going to the tally place to check with our officers who are working there.
Now let's come to the meeting after the persons you refer to, the elders, have left. I want you to clear the air. Marijan comes with the result. The commissioners are given copies according to you. Did any of the commissioners say this is not the result? Did any of the commissioners at that sitting say these are the figures, this is not the result?
All they said once they saw the final tally was to say this is not acceptable. Nobody said this is not the result.
So can I take it from there that all commissioners accepted the result?
It would appear to me, because the issue of moderation would not have arose contrary, if there was any contrary opinion.
Question number 2, did any of the commissioners say, I need time? Listen to me very well. Did any of the commissioners say, Mr. Chairman or fellow commissioners, I need time to go through this result so that then a decision could be made whether it was necessary to give them time or not to give them time?
I don't recall anybody asking for time. The only place where time was sought was when we were asking agents to come and sign the result. And it's one of the agents who said he wants time, but not the commissioners.
Finally, you have been a commissioner with IBC.
Yes.
And you know the system. Assuming for a minute that the commissioners agreed with the elders to change the result, how could this be done?
I don't know.
Was this information already in the public portal?
We deliberately, as required by law, set up a public portal where the entire results were actually deposited. And for 6 days, we've had the portal being accessed over 38 million times. I think 38 or 380 million times, 380 million times or thereabout.
If I followed the evidence well.
And if it was accessible publicly, there were many entities that had access to the results and could do their own tally. Meaning, therefore, anything short of the correct result IEBC announcing would have been instantaneously challenged with figures and facts.
And if I follow your evidence very well, is that then to achieve this tampering with about 233,000 votes required that you change the result at the polling station. That is from 34A. The only way you are going to achieve a change in 34C is first you have to interfere with 34A.
The suggestion was to move the 233, 211 to rejected votes at the C level.
Which means you have to distribute them in.
Well, I have no recollection. I have no recollection of how they envisaged it will be done. I don't know how they was proposing, but the suggestion was move these results this candidate has won with to rejected votes, so that there can be a parity, which would mean a runoff.
Thank you very much.
Maybe just a clarification. When you had a meeting with the National Security Advisory Council, led by Mr. Kennedy Kihara, did you feel threatened in any way for their proposal to moderate the results?
Of course, the tone of the message was threatening, because when we were told there are already skirmishes, the fights have begun, if Kenyans, if you announce whoever you want to announce or whom we think you are announcing, country. And I swore to God to do that. And my conviction was, I live by my oath of office. And if the process that we all oversaw for the 6 days resulted in a particular result, I was ready to live with that result and defend it.
Thank you.
Prof, mine is clarification on the letter at page 25 that my learned colleague took you through. Just for purposes of consumption by this tribunal, your specific role that is at paragraph 3 was, if I can read, consequently, you're hereby appointed to manage the presidential election results path. I didn't hear you talk about the path when you were being cross-examined, but could you just tell us what this presidential election results path entailed?
Thank you. The result path is what we had published publicly in a Gazette notice number 9540 of 8th of August 2022. And it elaborates the results path at the various levels, starting with the polling station and movements of the results from the polling station to the constituency tally center, and from the constituency tally center to the national tally center, and the movement of electronic results from the polling station to the national tally center. So it is as per that Gazette notice.
Thank you. Then on that letter again, and the reason I'm asking is because it was not clear whether you and the CEO were the only two people in charge of the tallying. The subsequent paragraph gives broad terms of reference of the team. Could you just confirm that what those terms of reference were, and whether they were applicable only to you and the CEO? And maybe for disclosure, you could tell us who these team members are.
The team members, we can avail the letter. I've left the commission. I think the CEO can provide the actual letter that is nominating the team members. And there are two teams, one led by Obadia Keitani, who is the Deputy Commission Secretary, and another team that was led by Dr. Halim Tisia, who is also leading another group. So it was the combination of these teams that were managing the flow, actually. And so ours was mainly to provide that supervision If there are any challenges, they will bring it to us. And the role that we were playing by being managers is not to make instantaneous decisions on our own, but to take those challenges back to our colleagues, and we were often making quick decisions together in our holding room. And so the challenges that were emanating from the floor was being challenged through me or Marjan as the overseers, but we were now caucusing in our holding room, all of us as commissioners, and to deliberate on how to deal with those challenges. So yes, whereas I was at the front face of the tally center floor verification process, but actual decision making was collectively taken in our holding room with all our colleagues.